today. I'm in Madesenshere village, which is north of Karaman city, about 40 kilometers. Behind me is an old mausoleum of a name of a person we're not sure of at the moment. There's no signs or anything around here to say what we're doing, but I came out to see the 1001 churches, which are located here. There's a lot of stories on the internet about them, how there's about 50 of them apparently around here, which is strange, consider it says 1001. Anyway, in Turkish, it's Binbirkilise, which means 1001 churches. There are a lot of old stone structures around here. They say it's Byzantine, but also they say it's, how do you say, Sicilia, which is a Greek word for Siclia. They pronounce it with a K here. Siclia, the Sicilian people, which were around 200 to 500 AD or something. They say they lived out here. Siclia, Cyrillic. A lot of the writings out here you see on the old rocks are Cyrillic. Cyrillic is the language which is modern day Russia and Greece. If you ever get a chance, or if you know about that, that's the type of language. Now, some of the letters look a little bit Romanesque, but they're pretty much all Cyrillic. Now, I haven't seen any here where I am, and there's no signs here. And it looks like just about everything here has been destroyed. Bombed, actually, is what it looks like. But when I'm walking around here, this high plateau they call it Karaman, which is the Black Mountain Range in here. Apparently, there's old ruins all over the place in here where they say people used to live here. So 1001 churches, we'll take a look over there. Alleged Byzantine, Siclia, related to Hittite. It's strange because online it says these places are 2,000 years oldish till about 500 AD. The Sicilians were here. They relate them to the Hittites, which were like 3,000 years ago, so I'm not sure how these dates work. It's weird. I'm reading about this stuff online. The locals don't know a lot about it. I've asked a lot of questions. A lot of them don't know a lot, you know. When I say Siclia, they know that. They go, yeah, they know it. Yeah, Siclia was here. So if Siclia was 2,000 years ago-ish, I looked online before I came out here, and there's a map online of Siclia in this exact location in 1903. So what? I don't get it. Some strange stuff. By the way, one of the ancient derivatives is Sicilia, which sounds like Sicily in Italy, right? Like, it's eerily familiar. By the way, this church area online is reported to be a place where St. Paul and St. Barnabas were. So in the Western narrative, St. Barnabas and St. Paul are in the New Testament. But in the Sicilian literature, they say St. Barnabas was Zeus and St. Paul was Hermes, Zeus's son, which in Roman would have been Jupiter and Mercury, respectively. So it's interesting how these different stories of these different cultures tend to point to the same individuals, but they all have different names. And of course, we're told there's different belief systems or years involved, but it all seems to line up. So I thought we'd come out here and check it out today, check out some of the old sites. We're just at the mausoleum here right now. We'll go take a look. And we'll take a look at the 1001 churches, and then maybe we'll get a chance to look at some of the old aqueduct infrastructure it looks like to be in here. So now we've moved over to the Madesenshere Mausoleum. Kim ade berare? Kim? Kim ade? Kim?
Başlayayım.
Anıt
mezar.
Ahmet.
Anıt mezar.
Anıt mezar.
Anıt mezar.
Eski adam.
Bizans.
Bizans?
Bizans denir.
Byzantine. İngilizce Byzantine anılar konuşuyor. Evet. So he's saying it's a Byzantine. Ada bir Ahmet? Bir ada?
Sim?
No,
No. Sim no.
Ada?
Anıt mezar.
Anıt?
Anıt mezar.
Anıt mezar. That's a tough one. Anıt mezar, as he says, the name of the person that's here. It's the name of the mausoleum. Well, interesting. There's no signs. I don't see any information about the place posted anywhere. Just in the middle of a community. And on the back side, there's some pretty big stones in there. Oh, there's a bee's nest. Great. Okay, so we'll walk up the back here. See what we find. We'll do a pan. Now I see some more ruins. There's lots of rocks here. Oh, smoke, look at that place. That mountain is pure rock and it looks black. Interesting. So the mountain behind us is called the Black Mountain, but that's black rock there. And maybe they're all called the Black Mountain chain. The people here don't seem to know. There's not a lot of congruency with the history from people. They don't seem to know. It's like these people are new here. I'll take a walk out to the front. Now, I'm looking pretty much due north. And to the northwest, there's more ruins, as you can see over there, in the distance there. See that? Yeah. This place is so dry now, but it looks like this place was on the edge of a lake once. Now that's going to be my call. So we're on a little bit of high ground here, as you can see. And those old ruins back over there look like an old aqueduct system to me. Being an environmental engineer, I've seen a lot of this stuff around Turkey. So that would mean that there was an old waterway that came through here, probably through that pass down here, and there was a lake in here. Because this is a low-lying area in here, right? And then there's aqueduct systems over here, and then it goes down over there. So there's probably a lake in here with a river system up over there. And then probably an outlet over there down to the main plain. So that's probably why people were up here. There's water coming down from the higher levels of the mountains up through there. Once upon a time. That's my theory, just looking at it. Well, lots of people still living in this community. Lots of old houses around. Lots of old stonework. Nice new place down there. A lot of people here don't know a lot about the history of this place. They're kind of confused. The stories online are interesting. They're all from a Western perspective, it would appear. I mean, they say this place was Lycia to the ancient Greeks like 2,000 years ago. But there's a map online from 1903 that says Lycia and shows the borders. So what's up with that? How could a map 120 years ago show this place if it's been destroyed for 2,000 years? I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. But that's the story. It says people destroyed these ruins in order to take the rocks to build houses, but I don't know. The rocks in these houses aren't the same rocks that are in that building. They're not even close to being the same. And actually, most of these buildings around here are made by Cindercrete. They're fairly new. The older walls and stuff are smaller rocks. They look like older ruins, like this. See that? The rocks in these houses are a lot smaller than the rocks that are in that so-called church. That's what I'll say. So-called church. See, look at the difference. It's hard not to notice, right? Here I am at 1001 churches. This is the footing of Karaman, which is called Black Mountain. This old community here, presently called Maden Şehri, is the location of these old Byzantine ruins. Here's just a little bit of a look around before I walk in. All right, let's have a walk through and see what we find. Lots of people living right nearby as well. So there's the old stonework, huh? This is the entranceway, it looks like. Now, it says online that this place is called 1001 Churches, which is Binbirkilise in Turkish. But there's about 50 churches in the area, they say. So I'm not sure what's up with the math problem. Well, we'll continue through. Now these, I guess we should look up here. These arched entryways let you see like this. I mean, in modern, I guess, what do you call it? Modern ancient architectural analysis, they call these the apsis areas because they're rounded. The archways have a rounded roof on them. That's the story. Here's the old rocks. And now we're going to walk through the final entranceway out to where I guess they say these are the churches. See, there's an apsis right there. So it looks like this entire place used to have a big dome over top here. You can see the remnants of it there. See that? It's destroyed now, as you can see. So this is the entranceway. There's my chauffeur, Ilhami. Merhaba, amigo. Merhaba. Super good man. He's actually a local policeman who offered to drive me out here because there's no bus service. So really nice guy. So we'll continue back over here and let's have a look at this ridge up. So the story is this is Byzantine. They say that Byzantine Lycians lived here like 200 AD to 600 AD or something. They don't really say who built this place. So there's a classic example of a apsis. You can see that at the front way of, I guess, what they would call a modern church, or jami, which is a mosque. Like, they both have the same structure. I don't know why people are gung-ho on calling them churches when they look the same as a jami or mosque. It looks like all the same to me. Anyway, the story is the Lycians lived here. Lycia, pronounced with a K locally. Just have a look around the place. So Lycaonia is what the Greeks called these people, I think. They're also considered to be Hittite, which is strange because Lycaonia was a 1300 to 16 or 1800 years ago, but the Hittites were thousands of years ago. I don't understand how that math works. Anyway, the Lycaonians had a lot of historical writings. Here is the story. Online, the Lycaonians say Zeus and his son Hermes came here. Now, in the Western world, Zeus is known as Saint Barnabas in the so-called New Testament, and Saint Paul is Hermes. Now, that's according to the Lycian translations. So Hermes is Greek, Zeus is Greek, and then the Romans, of course, Zeus was Jupiter and Hermes was Mercury. But in the Western books, I guess the New Testament, Saint Barnabas and Saint Paul. So maybe that's why they call these saint places historically, because of this differentiation between who considers who historically to be who. So it is an interesting place, but you know, there's not much here other than this. It looks like it was completely destroyed. Mind you, it does look like somebody was rebuilding the roof, because you can see the original roof stone structure there is domed, which was pretty strong. A dome structure is really strong. By the way, dome structures are good for moving sound. So if this place was used as some kind of meeting place or communication center, it makes sense it would be domed. But anyway, look at the rocks at the top. You see how the original rocks that are in there are supporting themselves, but then somebody tried to put like some kind of cement mortar rock mixture to redo the roof. That's what it looks like, because the old roof was taken out somehow. But you can see the remnants of what the old roof design would have been like that there, the apsis. Now I'm going to take a look around the back here and see if I see anything else. I thought there was more here. Let's take a walk around the outside for the heck of it. See what I can see on this structure itself without falling down and killing myself. I'll walk down here. Farming and fruit trees. Still some old houses over here. Some people, a lot of people still living here actually. There's a very large town, about 5,000 people, just on the other side of that pass through that valley we just drove through. I'll take a walk over this way through somebody's farmyard. Walk up these rocks, hopefully without killing myself. Get a shot on the other side. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. So I don't know where the rest of these churches are. It kind of implies online that they're all in this area. You have to drive all over the place. 1,001 churches, but there's only one. So I don't know what's up with the map. Nada va, amigo. Some nice HD shots here. There's an old rock mound over there. They say these are old volcanic mountains that are extinct, ceased to exist. That's the story online. They just call them the Black Mountain here. So where are we? We're about 40 kilometers north of Karaman city, which is the capital city of Karaman province. In this old area here. It's very arid here. I see very dry. There's not much farming, not much irrigation in here. Lots of wildflowers everywhere. Lots of them. Wild grasses, looks like wild wheat growing in here. Okay, well, we'll walk up through the pass. Oh. Recep, nasılsın? Recep is the father of the wife of this couple that run this restaurant that I've been hanging out at in Karaman. So he came out with us. I was there yesterday. Ilhami, I was talking to him. There was no bus running out here, so they offered to drive me out to have a look. So there's all these little concaves in here. I don't know what this would have been. Maybe an old water system. That's what it kind of looks like to me. So, Karadaha nerede? Bu? Araya?
Karada.
Karadabu.
Yeah.
Ah, so right in front of us. So that's the Black Mountain. Okay. Enteresan. Teşekkür ederim. Yep. Now, it said online that inside here there was evidence of old painting or friezes on the wall. That must be the color there. Yeah, I guess there is. You can see the remnants of it there. It looks like there was some old painting on here that's been scraped off, destroyed right there. I wonder who would do that. Yeah, it does look like some old painting of some kind, since destroyed right there. Now, why would they do that? Yeah, and all along the roof as well. You see it there, see? There. Over here. So this was all painted. Some mural in here. Mural along there too, you can see. Look. Now, why would they do that? Interesting. Okay. Well, this used to be the entranceway, and now somebody's house is right there. Amazing. With their bathhouse right there. All right. So again, this is Binbirkilise community, which is at the base of the Black Mountain. Karaman. Enteresan.
Çektin mi?
Oh, it is in English. Look at that. This settlement area of the villages of Binbirkilise, Uchkuyu, and Dele, the north side of Karaman, Black Mountain. So yeah, it says 50 kilometers to the north of the center of Karaman. Binbirkilise, 1,001 churches because of the ruins of a large number of great buildings dating from the period, they say, of early Christianity. I don't know how they get that. There were hieroglyphic inscriptions at one time. Now, apparently all around this mountain, there's ruins all over the place. There's an ancient road, actually, between here and Konya, another large city about 100 kilometers north of here. It was also one of the cities given the right to mint coins in the Lycaonian Union during the Roman imperial period, it says, 244 to 249 AD. Interesting. Scholars call it the lower city for Medin Shahida. So Byzantine, the upper city is Dele, with numerous churches apparently higher up. So daha kilislere araya da. A lot of people here don't know a lot about the history of this place. They're kind of confused. The stories online are interesting. They're all from a Western perspective, it would appear. I mean, they say this place was Lycia to the ancient Greeks like 2,000 years ago, but there's a map online from 1903 that says Lycia and shows the borders. So what's up with that? How could a map 120 years ago show this place if it's been destroyed for 2,000 years? I don't get it. It says people destroyed these ruins in order to take the rocks to build houses, but I don't know. The rocks in these houses aren't the same rocks that are in that building. They're not even close to being the same. And actually, most of these buildings around here are made by cindercrete. They're fairly new. The older walls and stuff are smaller rocks. They look like older ruins, like this. See that? The rocks in these houses are a lot smaller than the rocks that are in that so-called church. That's what I'll say. So-called church. See, look at the difference. It's hard not to notice, right? They're not the same. So how could that story be accurate? I don't know. Anybody can come here and look and see. See, and then there's newer rocks people bring in. I was just actually talking to Ilhami, and he informed me that actually there is a story that they think they know about this area, Rumi. So Rumi was like an ancient philosopher, they say, from about 800 AD to 1200 or 1500. I don't know. The names aren't right. I looked it up online. But Rumi was apparently a philosopher in Konya, which is that city close by. Now, the story is that he gets these dome structures that were in here were like speaking points for God. So Allah, Zeus, whoever, Baraba, Zeus, Saint Barabar, Saint Paul, these guys were all here, and these dome structures were for communication and for sound. So that's interesting. And then, of course, this Rumi guy is the known philosopher to talk about how you could communicate directly with God. You didn't have to go through some other priest or person who is allegedly the communicator for you. So it seems like those stories do kind of connect in here. This fella here is fairly informed about the area. I mean, he's from the Konya area, but he's a police officer here. So he's just telling me what he heard. But I haven't seen any of that online to connect all those dots. So I thought I'd just stop and talk about that for a second, because it does explain some of the inconsistencies that I say between all these ancient stories. Okay, so we decided to drive to the top of the mountain. So this is our view on the way up. That's looking pretty much due northeast to the Northeast Valley. And then here's the due East Valley. So the top of Karada is approximately 2,003 to 400 meters above sea level. So now we're on top of Karada Kratere, which means the Black Mountain Crater. So now there's a whole bunch more of these 50 or so churches that are around me here. We're on the very top. And it looks more like a community to me, an old community. I don't know why every time they see something, they call it a church. That seems to be the Western way they do things. But we'll take a quick walk around here, look at some of the artifacts, some of the old construction, and then we get a great view of the Karaman farming plains. Lots of the dome structures here, lots of apsis. Looks like this is old community living to me. Take a walk over here. So you can see there was old waterways through here. There's still a few people living up here, interestingly enough. Farmers up here. It's so quiet and peaceful. Maybe an animal shelter down there. Tough to say. Yeah, lots of animals staying in here now. You can smell it. Farmers are using this for that. Not many people get up here. Well, somebody's filled in some of the old doorways. It does look pretty old. Stonework in here is old. This looks like it was somebody's house. There was a window there. There was a roof here once, now gone. Yeah, this looks like a entranceway. Oh, staircase going up. Yeah, see that? All right, let's continue. Somebody still lives over there. Well, lots. Chalkvad. Chalk. Do you want to go look inside? I guess we will. The archway with a cross on it. Diagonal crosses, or looks like flowers actually. Some kind of flower petal insignia. Let's overhead all the doors. Let's see here. Actually interesting. Now when I look at that again, I see the Iron Cross, right? So you used to see the Iron Cross on all the Turkish Ottoman military uniforms. And a lot of people would say you used to see them on the German uniforms. They're all over the place here, over top of all the archways. Well, somebody's carved into these big rocks to make it kind of look like they're columns. So again, the apsis design, they call it. There would have been an apsis roof here again, all over this whole thing, which has since been destroyed. But some of it's been put back together again. It looks like it. Because you can see where the loose stones are, look. So you look where the old structure is still intact on the bottom. And then you look in the top and it looks like somebody recently has been putting the stones back together again. Right? That's what it looks like to me. I got a sneaky feeling these places were bombed. Here's the outside of the structure I was just in, where the roof is now gone. But there has been some reconstruction going on here. Oh, there's another farmhouse. Somebody up there. So people still living in here. Must be a water source here. These hikes are rough on the old man. So there's where we just were inside of. All blown apart. All right. Let's go up the hill. Let's go up the hill and check that out. Looks like we're at the end of the apsis room in this so-called church again. The old columns are all busted out. Should be a pretty interesting view out these apsis windows. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, see right down the valley. Perfect view. Good lookout point. I guess these churches were lookout points too. Yeah, nice view. This is looking from the apsis out towards the church. Everything's at church. Sorry, I just have to laugh. Every building's a church. Like, why would there be 50 churches all in the same area? Wouldn't it make more sense there was 50 houses or places where people hung out and lived? Why do they have to all be churches? Sorry, I just can't help but laugh. Another one of the so-called Iron Cross insignias, which are all over the rocks here. We're just chatting about what this place looks like, and he was saying it looks to him like it was a city here. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. This is where a bunch of people were living. Yeah. Why are they churches? Anyway, yeah. So it's the remnants of an old city, old roadways, it's old waterways. It's like a whole bunch of old houses in here. I wonder how old they really are. Yeah, so I'm just walking my way down here now from that top lookout point and walking through another, looks like a little pathway between a couple houses to me. These all look like old homes, nice homes with similar design, which makes sense. I'm gonna walk down over to that lookout point to look south. So it's pretty much high noon. Right now it's about 12:30. I got the sun directly overhead. Got a great view with the light here of everything. So let's walk down and have a look to the southern valley towards Karaman City and see what the view is like from up here. Looks like it was a tourist place at one point. That's like a tourist entry gate, but nobody's there now. Nothing going on here. A few people living here. You know, that's the sign. That's the sign they got here now. Not much for signage. There's a sign. I found it. The ancient settlement, Delis. So this is Uchkuyu, which is at the top of Karaman Mountain, right? That's what this is here. Number A193 by the Cultural and Natural Heritage Preservation Board. So the protection of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, 5 churches here, it says, to a basilica plan. It says there's a palace, a monastery, 6 chapels, and foundations of belongings of residences. Looks like they say there's chamber tombs, gabled roofs. There's contemporary ruins also here between 4th, 9th centuries. Yeah. So the designs are basilica plans, they say. Whatever. Somebody's living in one of the old structures here. They put new windows in. Somebody living over there. Yeah, it looks like there's 5 or 6 dwellings here that people are living in. And what was that up there? That was a big rock fortress of some kind that looks like was destroyed. Yeah, you can see the remnants of some big square, looks like rocks on the top. I'm not walking up there. I'd never lived through it. But on the top, there's a lookout point. Probably one of those fortresses, and it looks like it was bombed out. That's my take. This place looks like it was bombed. So that is looking down south. I've talked about this before. These are the Karaman Plains, Karaman in Konya province. So we're in the middle of the Anatolia mountain range, and you can see there's these big, huge, flat farming plains here. Look at that. Massive farming operations in here. Interestingly enough, where I am though, not a lot. Doesn't seem to be a lot of irrigation in here, not a lot of water. These places are pretty much dried up. There's a few local farmers, but doesn't look like a lot of large-scale farming here, not as much as there is farther south. But we'll take a walk right to the edge just for the view of these vast plains. They're huge. Yeah, quite the view. Here we are. I'm going to zoom in a bit. No doubt a hell of a view. See, and there's old ruins of houses, so-called churches down there. Look, there's lots of them all over the place here. People were living right on the edges. Great view. Looking down the valley. They're all destroyed. Everybody lived in a church, apparently. And that's the way up and down. We're going to go back down that way. So we're on the south side of the mountain, so-called mountain. You can see the communication towers up there. Lots of them here. This says there's 31 of these churches here, I think, on top of this mountain. Here we are. The 31 churches, they're called, or 31 residences. So there's our tour of 1,001 churches on top and around Black Mountain, Canada. Old Byzantine, they say. Also related to Hittite archaeology. There's also some recognition that some of these folks here might have been related to some Greek names, Ciclia. And the interesting thing that I note while I'm up here is that a lot of the stuff I see has the iron cross on the stonework, which I've noticed since I've been doing research in the last few months. The Iron Cross insignia was all over the German uniforms and the Ottoman Empire uniforms. And there is a map online that shows this place existing in 1903. So the narrative that this is 1,500 years old, how could there be a map that's only 120 years old? I don't know. And it looks to me as if these were dwellings. They call them churches, but they just look like dwellings. I mean, why would you have 50 churches all in the same area? Like, it doesn't make any sense with hardly anybody living here. I mean, it would make sense. There are obviously some kind of dwellings with central gathering places. They're of similar structure. Of course they are. Just like today, dwellings are of similar structure wherever they are. The destruction on them looks to be from the roof, from the top. That tells me they are destroyed from above, i.e. bombing. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, okay, so that's the tour for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me next time. Who knows what we might see. I'll try to get a view on the way down and driving by the mountain to get an idea of the local landscape in the area.